Ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, guys, Buds Aplenty. I don't even know what episode this is because I was supposed to do Big House content.
And I still haven't.
I still haven't edited most of it. It's been a long with me getting a new job, so like I'm kind of going through some process. It will be out, guys, but right now this will be the new season opener.
There we go. I'm good with that.
Yeah. So we have here the dad of Indie Smash, the OG of a lot of Smash in general. You've been around since 2006. Before a lot of people had even picked up a controller nowadays. Amir
Brando
Corsaro. I only call him Amir, and we only call him Xiivi. So Xiivi, how are you?
Fine. How are you?
Good. Just
Dylan,
good.
The man. OMG. Buds Aplenty.
Buds Aplenty. Let's go. All right. So you know the drill. You've seen the show. Having the guest on. You get to decide what we talk about. We've talked a lot of Smash, and because that's what you and I do. That's our big common ground.
Yes.
But we can talk whatever.
Yes, we can talk whatever. And so since you picked a beautiful trophy and magnet to put between us, we can go ahead and start with that. It's a good starting point considering it's the first Smash Brothers game, Super Smash Brothers, for the N64.
A lot of people, I forget it's just called Super Smash Brothers. I always just call it 64. And everyone's like, dude, I play 64. And I'm like, I say 64 and then I forget that's an entire console.
Yeah.
Just like we call Smash 4 Wii U.
It's true.
I play Wii U, so like it's a weird thing, but
I mean that one is just Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U.
Yeah. So so you once again will be TOing the Boss Battle series. Yeah.
Yes.
Held here at Boss Battle Arcade.
In the great state of Indiana.
Love this place too. So tell us a little bit about Boss Battle 2, why it's unique, because it's a pretty unique tourney. And then maybe we can talk a little bit about 64 in general as a game.
I'll go ahead and start with the beginning of the series. Essentially, we had a group that formed Indy 64, or Indiana N64, and they wanted to bring life to the game here in Indiana. And N64, as people have seen over the past couple of years, has had a resurgence. And so I very much liked their cause, liked that they wanted to bring to life, one of the great Smash Brothers games, the first one I played when I was a kid.
Same. Obviously, because it was the first that came out.
Indeed. But it was from our time,
Oh, yeah.
And so I hosted Boss Battle number 1 with them. We flew out Wookiee from over on the West Coast. We ended up having a great turnout. We had, I believe, 12 different states represented for an N64 tournament. There was a lot of people who came out, not just from the Midwest. I believe there were 5 Midwest states represented, but all the other states, you had people as far as Texas, people from New Jersey, and so of course you had Wookiee from the West Coast. And so that helped to make the event, even though around 50, 40 people is small by Smash tournament standards, for N64, it was a good start, for the first boss battle. Now, for boss battle number 2, we're having the same kind of broad representation from across the United States. We've got people from, once again, all over, a bunch of different states represented for this tournament, and we're approaching 100 entrants. For a Smash Brothers 64 tournament, that's a big deal, especially out here in the Midwest.
Very, yeah.
And so I take a lot of pride in hosting this tournament, which will be upcoming next weekend. And so I'm gonna, do what I can to help make the series be as good as it can be, so it can grow.
And it has some very respectable names. A lot of my viewers are not Smash players, but saying names like Super Boom Fan, Kiro Kuropi, Janitor, Cheers. Will Dark Horse be here?
I'm unsure if Dark Horse is on the attendance list, but I know Bart Sanchez.
Bark is, yes.
And so we have gotten a lot of the top players to come out, and it's helped bring a lot out from the Midwest. I've seen actually quite a few players who don't normally enter N64 who enter, Melee, for example, Ohio. There's Papa from Ohio,
Yes.
who I really never see him play N64, yet he's coming out and entering N64. It's great to see support for the game.
Yeah.
And that's really what the series is about. Getting support, from the Smash community as a whole for N64, saying this is part of the series, this is part of the Smash community.
Yeah. And it's a very unique Smash community, considering it has some of the advanced tech that you might see in Melee, especially L/Z canceling.
SDI is very important. You'll see a lot of the SDI, especially for edge guards, when someone's being edge guarded and they'll SDI into the stage to get hit, to get hit in the stage, because that will give them a better opportunity to recover.
For sure.
It's very deep. You will see a lot of SDI on multi-hit moves to escape them. But top players are ridiculous with it.
And even
taking it to new levels.
And even the SDI on some of the single hit moves to get out of guaranteed combos. 64 is a game that's very combo centric, where the punish game is the most discovered and developed of any of the Smash games, because if you land a hit, theoretically in 64 you should get a kill. And so the SDI at the highest level can get you out of those guaranteed kills and help.
It changes the game. It takes the game from a lot of the stereotype of, N64 is nothing but 0 to death, to something where it's not just that. It's a very intricate footsies game that is developed in the N64 meta. And it's just taken the game to a lot of new depths, and you get to see a lot more entertaining gameplay.
I think
competitive gameplay.
I think an interesting, you kind of talked about the neutral game is so footsie heavy, and it can be a little slow. And Bark and I, you had mentioned him. He and I spoke on Reddit a little bit, and he kind of mentioned how it's similar to baseball in that the neutral game is super slow, kind of how a pitcher will decide his pitch and then throw it, but the action peaks super quick.
Yes.
So the combo game, the punish game, the edge guards, that escalates the excitement very quick. So it's a very interesting experience for viewership, or in esports, as a lot of people are now using that word in common terminology.
Yes. You very much get to have that anticipation where you're seeing who can get in on the other and get their setup, and then seeing if they can pull it off or if someone can get out of it. And in reality, that is something that carries over through all the Smash games that makes them unique. What separates Smash from other games in the fighting community, such as Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, Mortal Kombat X, is that Smash is the one where there is such a focus on how do you react to being comboed. The person who is getting hit has just as much of a say as the person who is hitting the other person.
For sure.
It's something that's really unique to Smash. Things such as SDI, DI in general, the directional influence.
And then teching as well. You have the forms of teching like OMSA techs.
Yes.
There are a lot of defensive options that, you think of it a defensive option in a game like Street Fighter or Marvel, where your only options are block and push block. But you can shield angle, so it's kind of like blocking your highs and lows. You can spot dodge. You can do wave dash out of shield. In Smash 4, you can really take advantage of how good blocking is and letting go of shield.
I mean, Smash 4, a good example that's something that was unique to that game was the trumping mechanism.
Yeah.
Trumping is, in most situations, there are some very specific ones where it's guaranteed, but in most situations, there's still a say of the person who's about to be trumped. You can still buffer an option, and those options can still be covered. And so it very much becomes a game of thinking ahead.
Yeah.
That's something that happens with all Smash games, is that when somebody is about to do a combo, get their setup, things like that, they're very much trying to think 3 steps ahead of the other player and plot ahead 3 moves or so, even more than that. And that's what makes Smash so entertaining, who can get those off and make the reads that need to be made, and it's something that holds true for all the Smash games. Something that makes it very fun to play, because there's always depth to it, something fun to watch because you get to see all these unique setups, these unique follow-ups. It's just something that carries over really well. The core of Smash.
So as a guy who has seen Smash from 2006 to 2016, how has it developed from the grassroots heavy scene that we used to have to now the one of the top 10, most entertaining esports to watch, if not a top 5?
And so it's actually really unique how all of that came into play. And so really, Melee is the game where the competitive scene took off first. And during that time, even before my time here, you had support from, at the time, the biggest esports organization, Major League Gaming.
MLG.
And there were Smash tournaments, MLG 2004, MLG 2005, MLG 2006. And so there was support from organizations at that time, and that helped the Smash community see how events were run, see how things worked. And once that support kind of went away, the Smash community was still very much interested in the game. Generally, games have a set lifespan. You're not going to find very many other games being played competitively in the esports world, that are as old as Super Smash Bros. 64 or as old as Super Smash Bros. Melee. Generally, you're not going to see things that old still being played in a competitive environment, big stage. But the community kept the tournament scene alive. Tournaments, players took it upon themselves to learn how to run tournaments.
Yeah.
They learned what was necessary. They learned the hardships. And now, once the esports organizations are now embracing the Smash community has used that experience to help shape the decisions that esports organizations make. You see that the community has a big say in how tournaments are still run. It's not just, okay, esports organizations are going to start hosting events, we're just going to take their rules point blank and just play by their rules. No, people play by the rules that the Smash community has developed and play tested and seen what works, what keeps people involved. And esports organizations have seen that the community does know what they're doing, and they respect that. They only want to make it better. And so it's been a good embrace. You've seen organizations such as UGC getting Matt Dobzeb and Bear out, to host that tournament. It's never random figureheads behind these big events. It's always the community.
And then you look at like SSS, they originally brought on Juggle Guy to help that.
Yes.
And then brought him back again. And what was Combo Breaker brings in Juggle Guy and Bro.
Other talented TOs, D-Disciple. The people in the Smash community are very well respected by esports organizations as a whole. They know that these people put time and effort in the community and that they have grown it and that they are working for something real. They're not just doing it just for fun. They are doing it for the community to build things up, to make the game. People are very passionate about it. It has pretty much become a lifelong hobby and career for so many people. Not only just the players who have made a career out of it, but many TOs. Many of the people behind esports organizations. Some of the ones that started, such as Panda Global. Samurai Panda was a Smash player. He was a Smash player. He was in the Smash community, and he took that experience and was able to make a very successful esports organization out of that became more than just Smash. And he took that experience to take it and share it with the other communities.
And I remember when Panda Global was initially started, and everyone was I was kind of theory on it because of kind of out of nowhere. But then they added the 4 names they initially added: Plup, ESAM, MDV, and Wobbles. That is a very strong Smash roster, and then adding Filipino champ. And then who is the other? Did they add
Scar.
Scar, the MK player. Yes, and then there's also I think there's another.
They've developed a really solid roster.
It's a very respectable team.
Yes, they have branched out into many different gaming communities, and they take that knowledge that they have and they use it to make esports better. Just esports as esports. The whole esports community has been lifted just from that, and other organizations have become involved too. HTC has been really involved in reaching out to Smash players and being able to make HTC esports a big thing with a lot of community influence. And so what we're seeing from esports organizations is that they recognize that the community is the lifeblood of the whole esports world.
Yeah.
They respect that. It's a very good thing, and why esports has grown at the rapid rate that it has. Is that these are people who are passionate about it. They're not just here just to make a quick buck and run. They're here for the community to build something great.
For sure. We kind of talked about like the games in general. Well, I'm bringing you on, to the show. I want to ask you, and you had mentioned it. You are one of, in my opinion, one of the more esteemed TOs in this area. Probably in this state, a lot of people look to you as like the TO. Not to throw shade at other TOs, but I mean, a lot of people think very highly of your TOing. And how did you step into that role as a TO, and like where did you how have you developed as a TO over time?
So when I originally started TOing, when I went to college at the University of Rochester in Western New York, in Rochester, New York, near Buffalo, there was a Smash scene there, and I ended up getting the Smash scene. I ended up dropping Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of Smash.
Hurts both of our souls.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Was wonderful. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was wonderful.
Totally agree there.
But Smash stole me, and I got involved in that Smash community there, and at the time it was Melee, and Brawl ended up coming out during my time there. And during that time, I wanted to help Brawl. We obviously didn't know anything about the game until it came out, and it was something that we embraced at the start, because it was something where people expected that all the things great about Melee would carry over. And those things didn't really carry over. Brawl was good in its own way, but it was very much a disappointment with things such as tripping and the loss of some of the core mechanics that made Melee great. Still, I worked to start the Brawl community there, and I began by hosting tournaments on campus, and then the local game shop, Arena 51, over there, I ended up hosting there was a series, Battle for Western New York, and I got to host Battle for Western New York 5, which was Melee and Brawl. And so it was a success. We had people actually from Canada, from out of state, so it was a great tournament there, and that was my first pretty much big tournament, more than just the locals. And I began with some of the Brawl locals when the game came out, but then I started hosting Melee locals too, because that was the game that was still sticking, still fun.
Yeah.
But I stayed a Brawl player for a good time.
Who'd you main in Brawl?
In Brawl,
yeah.
I made Pikachu.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
Yes. I named Pikachu, and it was very fun, but eventually that game, I ended up exiting that game probably around 2010, and at the time, Melee was at one of its lower points.
A lot of people call it the dark age of Melee.
Yes, and at that time, I kind of fell out of the scene, with exception of Smash boards. And so I was able to stay active on Smash boards, even though I wasn't playing Smash as a hobby at that time. But Smash boards was still a great side with many friends, and it helped keep me in the community. And then once Indiana never really had a scene. There was a point in time where it did have a scene for Brawl, but it was never very large, and that scene here in Indiana died off. And so around 2013, when Project M was beginning to renew people's interest in the mechanics of Melee across everywhere, I started getting interested, and the scene in Indiana wasn't here. So I pretty much had to, with the assistance of other people who wanted to get the scene pumping in Indiana, we pretty much formed the group, Indie Smash and now Hoosier Smash, and used that to start building up with PM and Melee. And with those games, we were able to bring the game back to life in this state, where it had never really been alive.
Yeah.
There had been scenes in Purdue. There had been the time of the Ship of Fools, up in Warsaw, near South Bend, northern Indiana. But both those scenes were mostly northern Indiana. Indianapolis never really had much. There was a time, Sovereign, Renegade, Christetti's, during that time of brawl. But overall, Indiana never really had a scene. But at that time, we really started something here, and it's been going pretty strong ever since. When 30S came out, we were playing 30S. We play Wii U, and so now Melee, Wii U, we're going strong here. N64 has begun really taking off here, and so there's a lot of interest here. We even were able to have one of the biggest Super Smash Flash 2 tournaments.
I forgot about that, yeah.
Yes. And so that was very exciting to have, where we actually had a lot of the Super Smash Flash 2 dev team and creators come out here for a tournament, and an additional fellow scene. And so it was great, just to show another community project taking off and be able to do something special with that.
Yeah.
And so I've hosted a lot of tournaments since then, and I've helped a lot of other tournaments. And people ask me to help seed all the time, and I've never had a problem with it. I'm always there to reach out when people have questions. And so it's a very much positive thing when TOs collaborate and help each other to build.
Kind of a follow-up to all the things you said, with you having almost 8 years of TOing experience. How do you see that producing? What do you think some of the traits and things that you have learned from TOing have been, even from a professional stance?
You need to be able to put out fires at a moment's notice, and you need to understand that things can go wrong, things do go wrong, whether they're your fault or not. Something outside of your control can happen, and you just need to be aware and not drop the ball. Your ability to TO comes from your ability to make people not realize that problem happened.
Yeah.
You need most people to, everyone to have their tournament experience and not realize the things going on behind the scenes, the problems that came up that you solved. It's when players have a negative experience because you didn't solve those problems and it affected the tournament.
Yeah.
You need to just be able to keep a clear head, handle the situation, move on. Keep the tournament enjoyable and a positive experience for everyone, because it's those positive experiences that help the community grow, that keep people coming back. And so your ability to have good judgment and be able to problem solve the most ridiculous of problems. You're going to be operating in different venues from time to time. You might not be the most familiar with the venue, but if you have gone to the venue ahead of time and you've tested things, you've retested things, you anticipate and you prepare for problems. You make sure that problems don't happen, and you just and so with those preventative measures, you've covered 90% of the things, and then the 10% is the unknown of what can happen, what can go wrong, and then you stop it.
So it's very interesting to see how Smash has shaped you as a person, because it's done the same to me as well, even though my time is only 2.5, almost 3 years. But I've seen it from both sides, where in the early stages of the indie Smash scene, I was the guy whose first tournaments, playing Project M and like thinking I was good, and then the first time we went to Chicago for EXP.
Yeah, so Justin Windler, that was great.
Yeah, and we had Windler, the man formerly known as Torque. We had CJ doing events. We had him on the mic. You had me first finding out that I was decent on the mic. You had so much of us finding ourselves in the community.
Yes.
You had people that were willing to host, like Carrie. Carrie hosted, or Chiari. He hosted all the time, like once a week. That was you have Mango's fun day. That was our fun day, is going to Carrie's.
Yes.
And you just had so much. And then we also had Justin's when we went to Windler's, and we would be there till like 3 a.m. on a school night or a work night, and that's what we did all the time. So I've seen how people have developed into their role in the community. We've seen Push Block develop. We've seen Thomas develop his own esports team. You've seen people like Gotta Grunts, who has stepped into a major streaming role. So there's a lot of people who have grown up from just players to almost figureheads in their own local community.
And one of the things people find out about the Smash community is the potential for friendships, the potential for finding a place in the community. Well, it's something that a lot of people might struggle with is outside of school and work, they find themselves wondering, well, how do I find friends? If you move to a new place and you're already, out of school and you get a new job there, are your only friends your coworkers? And what Smash provides, it provides the ability to interact with your local community. You find people with a similar interest, and you're able to become friends. Find your place in the community. Find out your talents, what you're good at, because there are so many different roles in the Smash community that you can fill. You can just be a normal player, but there's so much more too.
I remember, I can't remember who exactly said it, but someone said a big thanks to those people who go 0-2 in bracket. Because those people are still needed.
Yes.
Everyone is needed. Those are the players that grow into the people that are upsetting the top players. You have so many roles that need to be filled. I mean, even having a venue to be at, or hosting friendlies, hosting people to come over. I mean, that's practice, and people need practice to get better.
Yes, and even if they're just playing for fun, if somebody doesn't want to be the best, if that's not their goal, if their goal is just to interact with the community, there's still a place for them. It's a competitive community, but it is also a very welcoming and fun community. People play casuals all the time. People host Smash Fests all the time. There's always that ability to interact with your fellow community members, both in the competitive setting and outside of it.
It's very unique. It's coming together, for a single purpose or a single common interest. Granted, I think we're seeing it more and more in this day and age where you're you can access things so easy with the internet, but it's very unique for us to all come together because there is no online play that is very good. I mean, even
has something that has changed in the last year or so. Melee net play has drastically improved.
Yeah,
and Smash ladders have become much more viable thanks to the Wii U having a much better internet capabilities than the Wii, and internet just in general improving between 2008 and 2014, 15, 16.
For sure. I need to catch my breath. That was a long segment, but anything else you want to hit? We've talked Smash the entire time. Is there some That's a lot of what our discussions are.
Yes.
What's the back news? Because Amir knows everything. Amir's the Smashboard's presence. What else do you want to talk about?
So, if we want, we can talk about esports in general and how that has taken off in the best of ways.
Yeah.
It's actually really exciting that I feel like, when I was younger, when I was, a high school student, a college kid, playing either, things like Yu-Gi-Oh, starting Smash, all that kind of things, that was the era when everybody was making fun of World of Warcraft nerds and that kind of thing. And, it wasn't very much, an easily socially acceptable thing to talk about, competitiveness in gaming. It wasn't like sports. People, if you talk about competitiveness in football or soccer or tennis, people outside of that realm will listen to you, and it's a normal, easy, casual topic. And at the time, competitive video gaming, esports was not something that your average 40-year-old adult was going to easily digest.
Yeah.
And now, when I share my passion with others, it is something where people are like, oh yeah, I've seen that. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Or when you show them it, they're like, oh, that's actually really neat. There's someone at my work who is very much falls into, he's in his 50s, he's a warehouse worker, and he's very much your typical sports guy. He has his passion in sports. He likes to go hunting. He likes to go riding dirt bikes and stuff. Things that are generally conceived to be normal things. And when I've told him about my interest in Smash and that kind of stuff, and shown him videos or things like that, he thinks it's amazing. He actually thinks it's really cool. And when I talk to him about my presence in the community and all that kind of stuff, he thinks, he encourages me. He's like, you should do that. It's like, that's pretty cool. It's like, I can see, where the future in that is. It's no longer like, man, that stuff is stupid. That's nerd stuff. It's very much, it's a lot more respectable now. And people understand that the competition that's going on here, it takes a lot of skills. It takes mental stamina, and you have to have good. People have to physically train as well. People who are in shape do well.
Yeah.
People who live healthy lifestyles do well. It's just like sports. People, you need good hand-eye coordination to be able to handle competitive esports.
And it's also like your health, just like you hear a lot of players say, "Oh, I ate I ate fruit on this day. I feel a lot better than when I eat Reese pizza or eat just a Pop-Tart."
Yes, and it is very much a positive development for back then. When people were playing things like World of Warcraft and that kind of thing, they were eating the soda and snacks. Now, you still have the Doritos Mountain Dew kind of stereotype thing, but you have people who are going to these events who are drinking waters. They're not, they don't want to drink the sodas and stuff. They want to, eat healthy, and it helps them realize that, hey, I'm a person who doesn't play sports or anything, but when I'm at these competitions, I feel like I need to drink water, like I need to eat healthy, and it helps instill, good habits in people.
For sure.
It's a positive experience. It's something that builds good sportsmanship, good character. There's a lot of positives that come from it. It doesn't matter which game you're playing, whether it be Overwatch, League of Legends, Street Fighter. It's all the same when it boils down to it. People are learning that you need to do hand stretches and things like that. That is important. Even though this isn't a sport and you're about to go running or something, you still need to stretch. People realize, oh hey, your body steps up. You need to stretch it out. You need to practice good habits, and it's something that it teaches people.
Yeah, I think one thing that I think is interesting for esports is watching how the meta of esports grows. Like watching it go from you think of the MLG era, you think of Halo, and you think of Melee, but then it changes like in different ways. I mean, now the MOBA is the go-to esport. You have only one or two like shooting games are very big esports. You have Call of Duty lesser, but more Counter-Strike.
Yes, Counter-Strike.
Fighting.
Counter-Strike has been big for a while.
Yeah, it has been, but then you also have like the fighting games. The fighting games are like their own little sect of esports. Those are the 3 big genres of esports, if I'm not missing any.
I'd say that's pretty fair.
I think in a less so, it's not an esports sense. It's more the grassroots esports, but I also think speedrunning can also almost fit in there. With it's not like the competition, but that's like the viewer aspect. That's like your casual.
I don't mind segueing into that. The world of Twitch, YouTube gaming, that has very much bridged. It's helped to bridge, a different style of community with the esports community to a degree. But with YouTube gaming, especially, Twitch, took off in its own right. It's helped to, really push the community. Twitch has been nothing but great for esports, for Smash.
Agreed.
For a lot of the communities, they've been very supportive. With YouTube gaming, that's helped bridge with the YouTube community, which is their own, unique. That's a different, unique community of people who make videos and that kind of thing. But now, various, YouTube gaming things like speedrunning have, helped bridge the gap between the community, make people aware that this exists.
For sure.
You might be watching someone speedrun something in the suggested videos, there'll be an esports competition, things like that. Or you're just watching someone play, you're doing a Let's Play, Five Nights at Freddy's, Undertale, somebody doing a Let's Play, and then you'll see over there, it's like, oh, hey, people play games in different styles, and I think that's helped, further make people aware, raise awareness.
Where esports, like the game, like the actual competition, is like the sports aspect. I think the YouTube and like the Let's Plays and everything, that's like your traditional TV sense, like watching an actual show.
Yes.
I think those two like combine to like make almost like a video game cable like network.
Yes. And indeed, it's also with YouTube, with Let's Plays, with speedruns and things like that. There's a big community aspect to that as well. A lot of YouTubers are involved with their communities, with their followers. People use Twitter, people use Facebook. They interact with those who are watching. And that's something that really you didn't have before, in traditional TV movie sense. People weren't talking to Leonardo DiCaprio, casually like you can do now on Twitter. And it's something that now you can interact with singers, you can tweet at Taylor Swift now, and you might get a response now. And it's become the same way to where, the idols of TV, movies, singers, and now there's idols in YouTube, idols in gaming, where the chance to interact with, a top player, like, the chance to interact with, say, Infiltration online or in person in a tournament. That's always what's been different about esports competitions, is that they are mostly, there are invitationals, but mostly anyone can enter. So some random person who's just entering the community, who doesn't really know about it, but is taking the plunge and just entering for fun, might end up getting paired with a top player from the start. And you have that unique chance to not only see that person interact with them, but actually play them at the thing they do. The chances to, and it's kind of mirrors like the chances to, say, sing with, a singer on stage, like, you go to a concert, say you're going to a Little Big Town concert or Jason Aldean concert or something, and they have a segment where they pull a fan on stage. It's that kind of interaction where you get to interact with the person at what they do.
And I think, like, especially in the gaming community, it lowers them to our level and raises us to their level, because, like, whenever, like, the first time we met whenever Hugs came in, like, Hugs now talk, like, whenever we saw each other at Big House, like, we were talking like we had known each other, and, like, we hang out, and I very much respect Hugs. At Big House, I hung out with Leffen, and, like, we, like, were able to talk and stuff. Did it with Mango, and so, like, you're able to, like, just hang out with these figureheads and people think of them as celebrities, and like they're just normal people, and it helps you to remember that.
It helps you to humanize them.
For sure.
There's more to Mango than just Mango the player. There is a person there. There's Leffen doesn't always have to be Leffen. He can be William.
For sure.
It helps you realize that. That it's not just that person.
The Red Bull series really brought that out with their interview when they interviewed Jenny, his girlfriend.
Yes.
I think that very. You said she had a quote in it. The William or the Leffen everyone else knows is not the William I know, and that kind of like helps you remember that like they may have like sometimes those personalities don't like really mix like a Venn diagram. Like they may be a sliver of what like the Venn diagram is.
Yes.
Some people like maybe even myself, it's almost completely one circle. For you, I think it's you keep those circles very one. Yes. But other people they keep them very, very separate.
And there can be good reason for that.
For sure.
And when Leffen's at a tournament, he wishes to be treated differently. He wishes to be treated with respect and to have his space, because not everyone at that tournament is going to have hundreds of people coming up to them. You at a tournament, such as Evo, is not going to get the same kind of treatment as Leffen at a tournament. He is going to have so many people coming up to him, and so it forces you to guard part of your personality. Whereas anyone you run into, you might strike up a conversation, become friends, and all that stuff, because you're not constantly being bombarded. And you don't need that space. You don't have that need to guard yourself some.
Yeah. Totally agree. Give me one second.
Certainly. In the end, your reasons for going to that tournament may be the same, but they may be different. When you go to the big house, you're going for that big tournament experience, and that was your first big national, so you were going for that experience. But at that same time, Armada was not going there for that, first time big tournament experience.
Armada was going for work.
He was going as his career to work, to win, for the competition. And so that's where part of the big difference comes into play. Yeah. It's like, yes, you may have also been going there to win, but he's going there to win as part of his career.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. Big House was a very big eye-opener to like how nationals were ran. And a lot of you will see that once I do decide to edit the footage. We'll go. I'll probably put some smaller stuff out next week. I think Big House is. I'm infinitely grateful that I was able to go, because it was probably one of the best weekends ever.
Yeah, it is very fun. I've had a great opportunity this year in going to so many of the
You've traveled so much.
Being able to travel. I have traveled this year as if I was one of these players, and it has very much allowed me to experience more than even I had experienced.
Yeah, you've been to both coasts.
Yes, I've been to both coasts. I've been pretty much everywhere this year.
Yeah.
I've been to Genesis in San Jose. I've been to CEO in Orlando. I've been to Shine in Boston. I've of course been to the Big House here in the Midwest, up in Michigan. And I've been to even more than that.
Evo.
Evo out in Las Vegas. Super Smash Con in Virginia, D.C. area, and more. I've gotten that experience and so I don't want to ramble on through all these big tournaments, but I've had that opportunity, and I've taken that opportunity to go out there and experience the community that has very much become an integral part of my life.
The tourney's about to start. I want to give you a little bit of time to warm up. Yeah. I definitely respect that, because you are a player first. One final thing, to speak to our non-Smasher and non-esports viewers. How are they to get into the esports or Smash community, and I think that's the big one. How do you think them as a viewer or them as a player, what's your advice for them to get into those communities?
My advice is to follow what you have a genuine interest in. You know, if you run across something that looks interesting, watch it, then watch more of it. And if you run across a League of Legends, you might be on something like Vine or Instagram, and you can see one of those funny little videos that they will put up, and if that interests you, then look into more of it. That's pretty much how you discover your hobbies. You can take your hobby. What esports has shown is that you can take your hobby and make it into a career. So if these are things that you are interested in, if you run across Overwatch and you find it really interesting, then get involved in it. Play it, watch it, find out what you like, and then find ways to get involved in that community. Go on the forums, meet with other people who have that same interest. Don't treat it as something that's awkward or weird. Treat it as if it was any other hobby.
Yeah.
People have their hobbies. People might go and play bridge, with their friends, older people. That's a hobby for them. Find people with the similar hobby and get involved and enjoy yourself and take it to where you want to take it. If you find that it's something that you want to be more than a hobby, then there are opportunities to make it more than a hobby. Find ways that you can get involved in the community and turn that into a career if that is something that you want, if that's something you enjoy.
One thing I was thinking about is, the old cliche is follow it down the rabbit hole. And because the rabbit hole just keeps going and going and going, and at some point you get to Wonderland, and just it's so vast, there's so much. I mean, you look at Smash, you have so much material to take in. Not just from this year, but its entire lifespan, whether it be, the things such as the historic Wombo combo, Mango styling on Taj, all the Genesis stuff, then even some of the really dumb matches, I remember watching Kage versus Mad Dot Zeb, the original one of Braum, and you're just it was a rivalry it ensued, even though it was just just below top level play. So there's so many cool things to take in.
Yeah, it's just having fun with friends. It's a hobby, and it's a competitive hobby, which a lot of people are naturally competitive. People like to win, and so it's something that makes it fun.
Yeah,
it's that you're both trying to win, and you're doing it in a sportsman-like manner.
Yeah,
that's how people got into sports, and that's how people are getting into esports.
It's very interesting to watch sports and esports kind of have similar paths. I was comparing. I was talking to my friend Mark at work, and I was telling him that Melee, I can almost compare it to mixed martial arts. He's big into MMA, and he's like, oh, I like where this is going. And you can talk about the different styles in each of the characters. Ice Climbers is that grappler that has glaring weaknesses. Fox is one of those great characters who can do everything, but if he's hit once, he has the chance of dying. You have some that are good, Puff, that's good in the air, so that'd be those that are good at stand-up, but once they get knocked down, they're dead. So I was able to explain that to him in sports analogies, and I used the baseball example with Bark earlier. Yeah, you're able to connect those dots.
Yes.
So
and it goes on, and things like tabletop gaming, take one of the easy things to see how competition gets people involved is look at chess.
Yeah.
Look just how long ago chess started.
Same with Go.
Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, where people were looking for ways to exercise their mental abilities outside of sports, because sports very much do exercise your mental abilities just as much as physical, but exercising those mental abilities in a different way. And so that's how chess, became a really competitive thing for people. And so there's just lots of ways where you can get competitive, and it only brings out some of the best in you as long as you keep a sportsmanlike.
Yeah, totally agree. And you know that you and I can both go long and on and on and on and on about this.
Yes.
You almost opened up a whole nother can of worms with tabletop gaming. You know we both love tabletop games.
Play Dragoon.
Play Dragoon. I mean, don't get me started. Follow me on Twitter if you want to see all my board gaming stuff, because you'll see a lot of it. I'm getting lots more and getting more and more into the hobby, as is Amir. So I think we'll cut it. Like I said, you still need to practice for Tourney.
That's fine.
So thanks for being on.
No, thank you for having me.
Great to be able to talk about the Smash community, and so Smashers and non-Smashers can kind of get a feel for the community.
Yep.
So I think we'll sign out.
Yep.
I'm Dylan St. Clair, and that's Buds Aplenty.
Yep. And I'm Xiivi, and you can follow me on Twitter at Xiivi, and it's written out XIIVIZV, because XIIVI is a screen name I've had for forever, and it's pronounced Xiivi, so it's easy enough.
Yeah. All right, guys. Peace out. Thanks.